Another day, another chance, another way, another chance, another way, another dance. I don't know why I keep on saying that, but okay. So today I'll be, going over. I'll be going over, a code, lesson underscore 7, right? So that's like confetti cuisines, right? So yeah, so confetti cuisine. So what happens here is, right? We have this new thing called utils.js. So that's what we are adding. So creating your first web application. So it's just like a web application that we've got capstone. So that's what we have, web application. So create application logic in main.js, create three views, each of which should have clickable image that can be served independently. So index, courses, and contact things in error, and add custom assets. So build the application's router, handle application errors, and then run the application. I'm ready to get cracking. Oh yeah, I'm ready to get cracking. So yeah, so obviously I'm going to be creating a web application as I read, called Confetti Cuisine. So what I'll do is I'll first initialize my project. So I'll create a JavaScript file called main.js, right? And then I'll pretty much add all my code into it, and then I'll initialize like before. I'll initialize my project. So npm initialize, right? So yeah, that's what happens, man. So yeah, that's what happens. So main.js, So you initialize it by package name, colon confetti cuisine, version 1.0.0, right? Description, get repository, right? Keywords, and then license, and then you got descriptions. So that's what you have, man. Yeah. So yeah, you should initialize it, and then what you see here, like as before, there's something called package.json. So that's pretty much your dependencies. You're pretty much saving your dependencies into a package, and then you got your right, and then what you have is your npm install http, dash status dash codes dash save dash dev. Right, so that's what you've got. So that what that does is it pretty much installs like in your node. Not only does it install like your node modules and etc., but it also installs your package.log.json for your node, for like the steps for your node modules. So it pretty much is it just is a registry for like your npms or your node package modules, right? So it just accepts, like let's say it just accepts like the APIs and pretty much the node modules. It just saves the node modules like your package that dash log.json. So that's what happens. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what happens, man. And then yeah, you know, and then you got ACP dash status dash codes um dash that save dash dev. So that also installs your modules as well. So that's what happens, you know what I mean? So then, and also installs like your node modules, right? And then, you got patch dash log.json. Also, download something called patch.log.json, right? And what that does is it stores all your modules, right? It just, saves all your modules, dependencies for those modules, body parsers, and your bytes as well, called bind. So all your modules, it just takes all your modules and saves it. So obviously I got node modules from Express as well. So that those modules have been saved. And obviously this is optional. I also did np I Express, and then that ended up downloading some like the modules and etc. So that's what happened. You know what I mean? And then I got my public file CSS. Now I got my bootstrap.css. So that downloads my bootstrap CSS for bootstrap, and then I've got my confetti underscore cuisine.css. You know what I mean? So that's what it has, and then yeah, images, graph, people, product. And then I got my JS, and then I've also got my views, called contacts.html, right? So contact.html. So that's what I have, man. Right? So I got contact.html, courses.html, right? Era.html, index.html, things.html, right? So that's what I have, man. Right? So that's what I have. So I got my so it pretty much got my views. As I'll show you, I've got my views there, you know. So I got my views, things.html, index.html, era. So these are the views that I have. So this is for my front end, for my client side, right? I views it for my client side. So, to, in a sense, this is a Node.js project folder, right? That's pretty much like full stack. You know what I mean? So content.html, courses that HTML, era.html, index.html, things.html. You know what I mean? So yeah, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean that. So that's what I've got. You know what I mean? And then yeah, so yeah, those are the views that I've got. On my front end, as I'll show you. And then my CSS is responsible for beautifying. So this here is responsible. Config underscore cuisine.css is responsible for beautifying my front end content types. The JS. So the module that exports HTML content type, text HTML mine type for HTML files, text content type, text plain mime type for plain text files. So that's what I have. So that's what I have, man. So this exports an object containing common mime types for different file formats. So this is for like mimes for like different file formats. So that's what it's for. You know what I mean? So that's what it's for, you know. So the multi-purpose internet mail extensions. So these are like mail extensions for like different file formats like HTML, text, JS, JPG, PNG, and CSS. So yeah, so the so though so yeah so those are like module exports. So the modules that can be exported, is like it's like the MIME types or the MIME types for like different file formats. So the module that exports can be HTML, text, JS, JPG, PNG, and CSS, right? So main.js. So that's what happens. So yeah, and then for your main.js, the main one enables strict mode for better error handling and cleaner JavaScript syntax. This prevents the use of undeclared variables and other unsafe actions. De- define and import necessary modules and files for the server. Country port 3000. So that port number is where the server will listen for incoming requests. HTTP equals require HTTP built-in Node.js modules for creating an HTTP server. HTTP status require, module providing readable HTTP status codes constants. Then router require constant router modules that defines how different routes are handled. Constant content types. You know, constant module that stores MIME types. Utils equals require utility module for helper functions reading and serving files. Right, so yeah, that's what it's got. Route for the root path. So content types. Man, what? So yeah, so that's what happened. And then route for the root path serves the main homepage index.html rather than get request res, then send a response header 200 OK with content type HTML, res dot write head HTTP status content types, you know, dot use dot HTML use the utility function to read and serve the HTML file to the client, then utils get files. If you use index.html underscore rev. So yeah, that's what it is. And then you got your route for the root path serves the main homepage index.html. Route get request resolution, you send a response header, 200 OK with content type HTML, res.write head HTTP status dot content types that HTML, and then use a utility function to read and serve the HTML file to the client, and then route the for the courses page that serves courses.html, route get route res that route write head or HTTP status content types.html, utils get file views courses.html res router that get content.html res and then dot write head. So router for the content page serves content HTML, and then handle the post request to the root path. For example, when a form to the site is submitted, it will respond with a thank you page. Then rather the post request uh, comma res equals or greater than res dot write head HTTP status. Content types that HTML utils get file views things that HTML underscore comma res route dot get graph dot png request resolution res dot write head HTTP status content types dot png utils get file public images graph dot png res serve another image file named people.jpg. So you got that router, so you pretty much get the utils, get files. So it's getting those, right? Serves an image file named production.png. So it gets, your public product.php. So the main style sheet for the website, the main style sheet. So that it pretty much gets your CSS for the confetti cuisine that CSS. Serve the Bootstrap framework style sheet used for styling and layout. Get file bootstrap.css. So so it also serves the main JavaScript file confetti cuisine.js. HTTP create server router that handle that listen port you know console.log the service listen on port number port. So that's what it's working on. And then yeah, obviously like before, man, package.log.json, package.json, and then you got your utils. So this pretty much imports Node.js built-in FS modules to interact with the file system. Imports so utils.js. What that does is just import like HTTP status codes, um, FS modules, right? So it contain a collection of utility functions. These are small reusable pieces of code designed to perform specific, common or repetitive tasks with a larger application. So that's what it has. So use strict, obviously, between the recurrent pattern, we see something called use strict. So this enables a restrict mode which helps catch common mistakes like using undeclared variables and improves overall code safety. And export object utility. So utils.js imports utility functions, utility modules. So that's what it does. Utility functions, modules that contain utility functions. So it requires HTTP status codes, imports contents buying types, forcing response headers, content types equals require, and content types. So export and object utility functions for use in other modules. Module that exports function to read a file from disk and send it in the HTTP response. So get file comma res equal to or greater than fs.read file. So if statements. So you got if errors res.write head, so on and so forth. So that's what installs. So yeah, then you got your constant HTTP status equals require HTTP status codes. Import HTTP status codes for standardized response codes. Import content types, MIME types for setting response headers. Content types equal required content types. Import utility functions like get file for sending files. Then utils equals require utils and then create routes objects to store all get and post route handlers. So constant routes get object to hold all get routes, then post object to hold all post routes. Then main function to handle incoming HTTP requests. So you got try, attempt to try and find a handler for the request HTTP method and URL. Then catch, raise at right head, and so on and so forth. Then you got your function to request get route handlers, expose that get routes, get function to register post route handlers, URL the path each submit function the function to execute for this route, expose that post equals URL dash action equal to greater than routes post URL action. The action is a callback function that defines what happens when the route is accessed, and then this route, allows your server to respond differently to get and post requests on the same URL. If a route is not registered, the error page views error.html is returned, and then yeah, and then without further ado, let me run my code. So as you can see here, you know, as you can see, here's my web application site. Home, courses, and contacts. So you got home. Please check out all the cool new courses by our innovative and creative chefs. If you want to see a new course, click the courses page and explore. When you see a course you like, you can contact us to join. Soon you'll be cooking in your own home. So as you can see here, your home page contains like your pretty much your links, to your other to like your other parts of the application like courses and contact. So courses page, contact us, join. Then yeah. So as you can see here, as you learn from like JavaScript, your views page, is responsible for what you're seeing here. So error.html, if you don't get anything, right? If nothing gets, processed onto client side, you return error. The things.html is a page that you'll see once you filled in your email and you submitted it. Your index.html, is what happens, I mean, when you it's pretty much your home page, like your home page, your welcome page. Courses.html, you know, that's what you see. Then content.html, so that's what you see, man. Right, so courses, bread making, pasta Milan, dark chocolate delight, contact us today, you know what I mean? So on and so forth. So yeah, I mean that then this is you might think for the main page, go to home. And then yeah, that's my web page. So so like for your main.js, if you can if you can like go over like well I was supposed to introduce you. My navigator is Letabo. That's my navigator. So if you can like so if you can pretty much highlight, just do like a summary of the project that I have, peer or navigator. No problem, man. Yeah. Wait, and then yeah. And also posts.
The router
Yeah,
will literally handle the requests.
yeah.
Uh, the utils will ensure that everything is functioning.
That
Like
your
it will
utility
handle,
functions.
it will read and server file to the client.
Yeah,
Main, that's all around. So basically, it will connect all of these JS files, the HTML files, and the content types. That's where we're defining the file names. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that you need.
I mean that's it, man. That's it. Right. Thank you very much. That was lesson 7. Take care, Lord bless, and thanks. I really appreciate that.